Hey, it's Daylin with Redeeming Day, and it's been a little while since I put a key out, and I was trying to decide what to talk about. And something came up yesterday in Colorado. Here we had tornado warnings yesterday and the day before. So there's been anxiety. There's been a bit of anxiety with kids and with schools, and a lot on the news. And I got to thinking, how do I handle that, and what do I want to instill in my granddaughter about anxiety, about being afraid? Right? It says like 365 times in the Bible, I think. Once for every day, I think it says, do not fear. I hope that's right. I know that somebody said that to me one time, and I took it to heart. We're told to not be in fear. We're told to be strong and be courageous, right? The Lord said to Joshua, be strong and be courageous, and you will make your path straight. You will make a difference. So it's not necessarily all of the things that are happening around us. It's what we are thinking on. Are we grabbing onto anxiety and owning it? Or are we grabbing on to what the word says about everything, right? There's so many promises in the word of God. And I think anxiety and depression, which are so prevalent and very real, the symptoms are very, very real. And certainly now that it's been 6 months since my husband passed away, I have lots of opportunities to feel down about things. And I know that I have to change what I'm thinking about. I have to put on a different lens over what I'm looking at, right? If I look at the fact that I'm alone, or if I look at the fact that everything's changed and different from the way it was, and I sit in that and I sink in that, I tell you what, after a little bit of that time frame, I can just feel depression coming over me. And that's pretty common, I think. So I go back to the word. I know to go back to the word that's planted on the inside of me. It says in Philippians that we're supposed to keep our minds on what is good and true and right and praiseworthy. It says in 2 Timothy, I have not given you a spirit of fear or doubt, but of a sound mind. There's promises over and over and over again in the word. And I think when we give in to the news, when we give into anxiety, when we give into fear, when we give into loneliness, I think is when the downward spiral starts, and when the enemy of this world starts to take over our minds, right? So one key for me was to focus what I'm thinking on onto the word of God, not onto the world, not onto the worldly circumstances. So as I was trying to think about what I was going to do my next video on, I thought that's a pretty common one. That's a pretty common one, even when you're dealing with some pretty serious situations. There's also a lot of verses about strongholds. Strongholds are something that just takes over our mind, takes over our body, takes over what we're dealing with. And it says very clearly in the word that we have been given weapons to battle those strongholds. And they're not of this world. They're spiritual. They're spiritual weapons. They're not carnal, is what it says. So if I know those things, if I know to think on what I said before, what's good and true and right and praiseworthy, if I know how to shift what I'm thinking about, if where my mind is going is not taking me where I want to go, then I have learned to be able to stop that thought process and shift it over onto what the Word of God says. So that has been a real help to me, going through hard things, raising my granddaughter, raising our kids. And I gotta say, in the beginning of all of that, I didn't know that key. I didn't know how to do that. I was pretty much tossed to and fro, like most of us are, by the circumstances. But now that I know to stop and say, wait a minute, that's not what the word says. The word has said that I shouldn't be in fear. The word has said that I have a weapon. I have a weapon in what I'm thinking about and what I'm speaking out loud, and I can use that to battle whatever is coming up against me. So I hope that's helpful to somebody. That's just a quick little key. That was something I didn't know necessarily when I was growing up, but it's really every day I have a chance to use it and to put it into practice. And it's been really a good thing for my granddaughter and I to talk about together. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you're having a great day. I hope everyone is safe and protected. Tornado warnings are nothing to take lightly, of course. We have to use wisdom in everything that we do, but I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic anymore when I hear bad news, because I've heard a lot of bad news lately, and panicking doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't get any of us anywhere. So go to the Word instead of going to the world. That's a good key. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.